Hello and welcome. In this reading, we are focusing on what blocks are keeping us from our happiness, what blocks are keeping us from our goal, from the changes that we want to achieve. Sorry, my cat is trying to get my attention. Squall, the one that's been in a few of my videos now. So yeah, let's go ahead and ask the cards exactly what underlying factors are contributing to our current stagnation or current place where we're not moving far. I just want one more card because those popped out really quickly. Oh, it was this one. Okay, this deck is very opinionated already. All right. So integration, ushering experience into wisdom. So that right there is telling me that you've already gone through something, you've already experienced something, and it's a matter of you giving yourself the chance to start implementing and utilizing the lessons that you've learned, which is always easier said than done, but it's important in order to make sure you don't repeat the next cycle. Shadow song, hear your soul song. So again, this is something that has to do with you recently finding out more about who you are or about you being more of yourself. And it's one of those things where you know who you are at your heart, you know who you are on the inside, and you've been wearing a mask for so long that now you're starting to sing your own tune. And that's what this card's about, is the fact that you're starting to be your own person, the person that you are always meant to be, not the person that you've been created by the society that you live in now. Resistance, obstacles to your flow. So when I first asked about mental blocks, it was one of those where, I want to know what is keeping us from moving forward. Resistance is you. That is you keeping yourself from moving forward. But resistance is because of experiences or stories or things that we thought were true because society has told us so. Our parents have told us so. Our boss has told us so. Our spouses have told us so. So resistance is really getting to that root and releasing whatever is holding us back. And then we have shadow name. Unlock the mystery of your own shadow. So right off the bat, I'm getting the understanding that this is a new journey for you, that this isn't something that you have been working on for a couple years. You are just starting this journey of you understanding how to grow, how to feel, how to see yourself in a different way, how to understand that everything that you've been told up to this point might not be true. You're learning how to unlearn and relearn. And that is a big part of what integration is. And, when it says shadow name, unlock the mystery of your shadow, that is literally, this card is just asking you to go internal for you to understand who you are at your heart. Because the shadow is the part of you that has never forgotten your truth. Your shadow's never forgotten who you wanted to be as a child, never forgotten the passion, the desires, the creativity, all the things that has been worked so hard by society and by people around you to put you in a box and shut you out. Your shadow's never forgotten your true form, your true colors, the person that you really are, good and bad, creative and not so fun. Your shadow remembers all of that. So these cards here are telling me that right off the bat, we're starting this journey and we're starting to understand that there are parts of us that have been long and forgotten, and we're trying to remember them again. We're trying to go back to that inner child and understand what it is that inner child needs. And that's a journey. So let's ask the tarot cards exactly what it is that we can do to help us understand when these resistances really start to show us, what was the initial time frame, or not even time frame, but what is it that we're still allowing to take over and believe? Because something has happened for you to understand that, this isn't who you are, that this isn't permanent. So you've had a chance to rediscover, to see things differently. But sometimes it's important to remember to look back and be like, oh, this is what started it all. This path, this journey, this incident, this trauma, this event. So that's what the tarot is going to tell us about. All right, so we got the Three of Swords in its upright position. So right away, this is about something that is difficult for you to process, to work through, because swords is that intellectual thing. And it's telling me that you've been let down. You've been let down by yourself, or you've been let down by others. Three of Swords is the ultimate disappointment card, and it could be disappointment from the fact that what you were hoping to happen didn't happen. Whatever that may be, there was expectations that weren't met. There was expectations that might have been held too high, or maybe communication wasn't at its best. Maybe, you weren't properly communicating, or someone else wasn't properly communicating, and that has caused this place of disappointment, of sadness. But in this place, I want to point out, I love this card specifically because it's a person on an island surrounded by water. And it's one of those where it's like, yes, this does affect your emotions, but at the same time, this is something that you can work through by, journaling, by talking it out, by, moving. This is something where you're not stuck. You just need to get off the rock. Then we have the Eight of Wands in its reverse position. So Eight of Wands is all about you doing things, and, in its upright position, it's about it always hitting its target. In its reverse position, things are still happening. You're still doing the things. It's just that they are slightly missing the target. Instead of getting that $5,000 loan, you only got a $3,000 loan, which is still a loan, but at the fact that you need to find $2,000 is still there. Maybe you were hoping to walk 5 days a week and you've only walked 3 days a week. Well, you still walk 3 days a week. It's one of those things where things are still happening for you. You just need to realize that even though it's not exactly as you wanted, that you're still building. This is still something that's helping you get closer to your goal, even if it isn't exactly how you wanted it. The Hangman in its upright position, just like I talked about with integration, all these other cards. This is telling me that you've recently discovered something about yourself or a situation. You've come across knowledge that you can't forget. The story I like to give is you're in your kitchen, you slip on a banana peel, all of a sudden you're back on your floors to the back. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just start the story over. The story is you're in your kitchen, you slip on a banana peel, your back hits the floor, you look up under your kitchen table, and there's a huge crack in your kitchen table. The truth is, you can't forget that crack's there. And if you do pretend to forget the crack's there, it doesn't take away the fact that the crack is still in the table. Words are wording today, man. It's hard. So are you going to do something about that crack in your table, or are you just going to pretend to be surprised when the table falls apart? All right, and then we have the Nine of Swords. So this is telling me, once again, being in our head, that we are focusing on our, the things that are negative, the things that are holding us back, these resistances. We are 100% letting our thoughts control and keep us awake and manipulate us into believing that we can't, we shouldn't, remembering all the embarrassing things, the times it didn't work out. And it's almost like the Nine of Swords to me is very much an ego card, where ego is so worked up and so certain that we need to stay safe, we need to stay small because of all these things that happen. And when I see the Nine of Swords, it is a time and opportunity to really allow yourself to face all those moments and say, those moments I had emotions, those moments did happen, but those moments either help me grow or help me keep myself small. And I get to determine what it is that those moments have done. You can use those moments to learn from, you can use those moments to change from, or you can use those moments to stay exactly where you're at. The choice is yours. With the Nine of Swords, it's about confronting the anxiety, the despair, the depression, and saying, you know what, you are a part of me, but you're no longer going to control me. I am taking back my control, and I'm reclaiming my self-worth. So now let's ask what it is that we can do to help us clear through this confusion, to help us get straight to what it is that is inside of us that can keep us moving forward, to help us be able to shush that ego-driven voice, to tune out some of the negative... Bubby, no. Sorry, that is my cat once again, trying to say hi. Really wants my attention right now. But yeah, pretty much just to get your attention. Let's see what the cards have to say about getting your attention, since somebody decides that getting my attention is necessary. So what do you need to do to get the attention from yourself? To hear, to listen, to act in the way that, is more authentic to yourself. Self-love. While this is a very straightforward card, the act of self-love itself is not so straightforward. And that's why I love the imagery on this card. Because you have the moon, you have the sun, you have the ring, you have the spiral, you have the heart that's flying. And honestly, this is what self-love looks like. It's chaotic and it's messy, and what works today might not work tomorrow. You might have to pivot, you might have to change. But the truth being, as long as you're acting in a way that is meant to help you heal, that is meant to help you be better, that is meant to help you find peace, then it's self-love. If that means that you need to take a nap, if that means that you need to, just turn off the phone and tune people out for a little bit, that's okay. That's self-love. If your version of self-love is that you need to start walking or you need to work on cleaning your house, that is also self-love. Self-love has so many different forms. It's just a matter of you doing the thing that you need to in the moment to help you through this moment. Forgiveness. So this one's a big one because first and foremost, I always ask that you forgive yourself. A lot of times in our lives, there are things that happen and that we played a part of, and we get so mad at ourselves for allowing these things to happen, for enabling it to be as long as it was, or to even put ourselves in a situation even though we knew better. Here's the thing. You need to forgive yourself. Because even if in that moment you knew it wasn't the right decision, you still made the best decision that you could at the time for yourself at that time. Even if, again, you knew that it wasn't going to be good for you in the long run, in that moment, your brain needed what it needed. Maybe it needed to have a recognized pattern. Maybe it needed to have a chemical boost. Maybe it needed to have whatever it was. And you know what? You need to realize that, yeah, those aren't the best parts of yourself, but you also need to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself first, because you're the hardest person to forgive. Emotional release. We have 2 cards that have rain on it. And we have the anxiety card with the 9 of Swords, and we have the 3 of Swords with, the disappointment. Yeah, we're going to have to release. Whether that be journaling, whether that be talking to a friend, whether that be taking a walk, whether that be crying in a shower, my favorite place to cry. Wherever you need to actually allow yourself to have this moment, you need to have it. Holding on to the guilt, holding on to the shame, holding on to the feeling of being a burden, holding on to all of it is not helping you. That's actually what's causing your resistance. Because you feel like if you hold on to these emotions, then you'll never have to experience that situation again. What you don't realize is you're just holding on to so much extra baggage, and it's literally weighing you down and slowing you down. Where if you were to release it and just drop it and say, you know what, it's not a part of who I am anymore, I'm going to move on, you're going to move so much quicker and so much happier, and you're going to feel so much better. Yeah, it's going to take time, but you are the ones that's going to decide whether the time is going to be within a day to a week or months to a year. It's about your decision and how you integrate things. It's about how you allow yourself to release and feel things. If you're willing to forgive yourself and those around you. And remember that forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean clearing their name. It does not mean saying that this person, now has full access to me. No. Forgiveness has nothing to do with reducing your boundaries. All forgiveness has to do with is reclaiming back your energy. Once you reclaim back your energy and take back what is yours by saying, I forgive you, you are no longer going to be the thing that's going to keep me stuck in the place, that's no longer going to affect my actions and who I am as a person, that is true freedom. And that does allow you to let go of these anxieties, this despair, this depression. It does allow you to walk quicker, move forward longer, and to get further quicker. It allows you to realize that the expectations that you're waiting for to have that other shoe drop isn't a necessary thing to carry anymore, and you're going to keep yourself moving forward. All right, now let's ask universe for just some encouragement to help us through this phase, because what this reading is asking you to do is it's asking you to go deep into yourself. It's asking you to really get real with yourself, to, do the shadow work, to continue going with the journey. And, it's not easy what it's asking. So let's just get some encouragement. Let's find just a little bit of advice and peace to help carry us through. All right. You must forgive if you want to be free. Do it for yourself. It's literally what I just said, 100% with that forgiveness card down there, is that this is to free yourself. So that card can't wrap it up any nicer. You must forgive if you want to be free. Do it for yourself. I love it when the cards do synchronistic stuff like that. Clear your mental and physical clutter. You'll feel so much better. So that's what I was talking about as far as that self-love card that we got, where you need to do what you need to do for yourself. And that is clearing that mental clutter. That is helping yourself in the physical realm. Do you have to, just do your laundry and do dishes to help yourself? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what it is. That's self-love. Allow yourself to have that. Do you need to, write and journal and give yourself a journaling schedule for a couple days in a row? Or, hold yourself accountable to journaling, 3 times a week or something like that. Let's get that clutter out. Let's do that self-care, that self-love card. Stop giving away your power right now. Again, the synchronicity with these cards. I literally was talking about how if you're not forgiving, you're holding on to, and you're letting other people show and how you want to behave. And this is literally asking you to stop that, to stop letting those other experiences, to stop letting those other voices keep you stuck in this space that's not comfortable for you. Reclaim your power. Be yourself. You could use some self-care time. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but you could use some self-care time, now. Schedule it in. Again, the synchronicity with the cards is ridiculous, because we got the self-care card over here. Now we're getting the self-care card here. Literally, the cards are telling you that, hey, you're going to say you don't have time, so schedule it in. And I love that for this card for that purpose, because sometimes you do have to schedule self-care in. Sometimes you do have to set a time 15 minutes before you go to bed, or wake up 15 minutes earlier just so you can have time to yourself. If you're a busy person, if you're a mom or a dad, or you're someone that cares for a lot of people, or you just have such a hectic schedule because of emails and meetings and everything, you do need to schedule in time for your self-care. It's not just going to come on its own if you don't make time for it. So make sure you're making it a priority. If you want advice on how to schedule in self-care, or how to, let go of that emotional resistance, if you want advice on how to find emotional release, hit me up in the comments below. Go ahead and ask your questions there. I will do my best to answer. There is a community. We'll support each other. If you want a private reading, if you want to know how more specifically on how to find answers and how to, get into that shadow area better, there is a link in the description below for a private reading. Go ahead and click on it. I do specifically have readings called shadow readings, which helps you to communicate with your shadow a little bit better and helps you to understand what they know and what they're learning at. So click on the shadow reading instead of just the regular reading if you want that specific as well. This is all I have for you today. I want to thank you so much for sticking out to the end. I can't wait to read for you again soon, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.